Every single person in this world has a story to share. Your story is your superpower, and it's unique to you. In sharing it with the world, you can impact millions of people. If you keep it to yourself, you are doing the world a disservice. This is Dela. I'm the host of Dela's Voice, and I help you share your superpower with the world.
Hello. Oh my gosh. Thank you so much for joining us again for another Dela's Voice Sunday live show. What a blessed opportunity for me to have this platform to speak to amazing people from all around the world, to bring their stories to you, to help you get informed, get inspired, and get motivated to change for wellness, for a better life. My guest today is an amazing woman. She's a fantastic entrepreneur. I can't wait for you to meet her. But first, I'm going to tell you a little bit about her. Didi Wong. I just can't tell you enough because, I was reading her bio and the things she has done, the amount of amazing accomplishments in her life, and she's still doing them and she's still impacting the world. She's a mother of 4, and I don't know. I think it's pretty amazing the amount of things she does in her life, like the Energizer Bunny. I think that's what that's how you can describe her. And she has this smile that catches you like gold, because it's so it's so beautiful. And so let me read you a little bit about her. Didi Wong was born in Hong Kong. She was raised in England, and now she lives in LA. Didi Wong is an award-winning international keynote speaker. She's a Hollywood film and TV producer and a financier. She's a serial entrepreneur, business and speaking mentor, best-selling author, and angel investor. It keeps going, I'm telling you. She was given the highest level award of Women of the Decade for entrepreneurship and venture capital from the Women Economic Forum, as well as an award of achievements, recognition, and excellence by the National Council of Women from the Egyptian government. She's also been honored to speak at the Global Entrepreneurship Initiative at the United Nations, and she was the resident speaker on the Think and Grow Rich Legacy World Tour 2019. She has funded, executive produced, and worked alongside the likes of Larry King, Robert Kiyosaki, and John Stevenson. And so on all these projects, I was so excited. Kung Fu Panda, Shrek, and Madagascar. Like these are some projects of John Stevenson. And Robert Kiyosaki, in case you don't know, he is the rich dad, poor dad legacy. So Didi was a judge on the #1 digital business show, Elevator Pitch, as well as being the lead in a feature documentary on her journey as a speaker called Impact, that has won multiple major film festivals for Best Inspirational Film. Stay tuned, because there'll be a viewing of that film coming up very soon. I'm very excited about that. Didi was given the certificate of recognition by Mayor Eric Garcetti of Los Angeles for helping women entrepreneurs succeed. Oprah magazine calls her woman who means business. In 2021, she will be, listen to this, knighted as Lady Didi, where she will join the Royal Order of Constantine the Great and St. Helen of Spain to further the royal initiatives both domestically and internationally. Philanthropically, she participates as a parent counsel in the obstetrics and postpartum department at Cedars-Sinai Hospital in Beverly Hills. She's the president of the Women Economic Forum Los Angeles, as well as being on the board of advisors for Destined for Greatness, a nonprofit to help inspire young students. Amazing. She's also an ambassador for the Unstoppable Foundation. And I told you, she has 4 kids under the age of 10. I mean, I don't know how she does it between her family life, her speaking projects, her clients, because she's a coach and she's a mentor. Anyways, so she's given us a time. She's given us an hour of her time, and I'm going to squeeze all I can from her to get all of her gold to put out there so that we can get more inspired. So, ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome the amazing Didi Wong on Dela's Voice. Hello, my dear.
Hello, Dela. What a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful way in reading my bio. That is terribly long. You know, it's funny, every time I get on a podcast or an interview or a TV show and people describe me, and I was like, oh my gosh, it's so long. Maybe I should just cut it up to one sentence. But you, my dear, I got to say, I learn from every situation, right? When I was watching you read that, I was like, wow, Dela is so thorough. And because I can be very impatient. I have that go, like, come on, get it done. It's the Hong Kong in me, right? The Hong Kong pace is so fast. And I just saw you read that, and I was just like, I need to learn from that. It's okay to be kind of like quiet and slower, and it's great. It's perfect for a Sunday for me, and it reminds me of my yoga practice. So thank you, Dela, for having me on this show. I am so honored to be here to share with your audience. I feel the love already from you. Really, thank you.
Thank you, Didi. You know, it's so true that we underestimate our accomplishments. I mean, this is one pager of your bio of years of working, the tear, the sweat, the blood, right? And it's all on a one page. And so when I read that, I read it fast in like 1 minute, but this is years of you working so hard to get to this point of your life. And of course it needs more attention. And of course it needs to be read carefully so that we can get the meaning behind each word. Oh my gosh. So can I ask you, Didi, how does it feel to hear all of that? Do you ask yourself, oh my God?
I do. You're asking a very good question, because, you know, as a women empowerment or just a coach, you know, I teach confidence, I teach about connections, and I teach about being humble, but at the same time, don't be afraid to promote yourself, and don't be afraid to, I don't want to use the word brag, but, you know, really be healthily confident, right? And when I hear that, part of me is like, I kind of want to bow my head down and hide. It's kind of like a physical a feeling that I have. But the other part of my brain is telling me, wow, it's really great to listen to it, where my physical was just going like this. And it's really interesting because I've been on many interviews, and every time they say that, it's just like, oh my God, let's just get to the part where we talk and be natural. But no, you're right. It's years in the making. And I put so much effort and time and energy into accomplishing what I've accomplished. And so, it's like 50-50. Like, I love that, people get to know me, but the other one is just like, I'm just a mother, and I'm in here in sweatshirt and, and I'm just real, this is who I am. So I hope your audience will get to know me as not just those titles, but I am just who I am, and I'm living my life. I will give you this one big takeaway, because when I turned 40, I'm 44, just so you know. I think about my life, and I was thinking when I turned 40, I really have probably about 35 to 40 years left, right? To real like energetic. I mean, I'm hoping I could be as energetic when I turn 80, right? But I was thinking, I'm a planner, and those of us who are planners, right? We look at our calendars, we put 10 a.m., 11 a.m., what to do. So I'm kind of planning my future, to be very honest with you. When I turned 40, I said, look, I will only have this beauty and youth and energy and probably for 25 to 30 more years, if I continue the way I do with physical fitness and eating right. So I want to make the absolute best of my next 35 years. And that is when I accelerated on every way what I invited into my life in terms of opportunities. Any kind of opportunities that I have been thrown, I have said yes to. I mean, most of it, honestly. And to have faith that somebody like you, Dela, has come to my life for a reason, right? And I manifest great people into my life. So when I get asked, like you asking me to be on your show, I didn't look you up. Honestly, I really go by knowing and having this deep faith and spirituality that people will come to me at the right time for a right reason. And as I get to know you more, I'm feeling the depth of who you are. And it makes me emotional to say that, these are the kind of moments that I treasure when, I know I don't know you very well. I know that, you do an amazing show. I can tell already with the first few minutes of how you are, that you are truly an amazing person yourself. And I know how hard you work to get these programs out. And it's no joke. People think, oh, it's another podcast. No, people actually put love, time, money, energy, and into effort into making this happen. So, I applaud you, and thank you again for having me on your show.
Thank you. Oh, see, this just tells me so much about you, Didi. I mean, we're talking about you. This is your interview, and you bring it back to me. And this is how you are, and this is the amount of love you have, and it's so obvious. So I want to go back to something you said, and because it resonates with me. You said, I'm sure there's more story behind that. That on when you turned 40 is when you decided that you were going to take every moment of your life and you were going to make the most of it. If I understood you correctly. And something like that happened to me when I call it my spiritual awakening. Is one day when I thought I was going to die, actually. I was really sick, and I decided that at that moment, the lesson I'm learning from this experience is that I will not take another moment in my life for granted. As of that moment, is things happened for me. That's people came into my life who helped me, and I just made amazing people. So there's so much truth in what you're saying, Didi.
Thank you.
My God. Thank you so much. And I want to make sure we say hello to all the audience who are watching us in this moment. Thank you for spending an hour on your Sunday with us.
Yes.
This is
Sunday is I did grow up Catholic, and I do know the Genesis, chapter of the seventh day, right? So I do keep my Sundays as sacred as possible. But as I said to Dela earlier, I wanted to come in sweats, be congruent, be in alignment with how I feel today. I'm not going to put on a show. I'm just being me, and it's special to speak on a Sunday, I'm going to say.
I know 2 minutes before the show, or before we were supposed to come on, Didi said to me, audio, right? I said, no, video.
I didn't change. Isn't that funny? I didn't even change. I was like, you know what? I'm going to be authentic to the moment, to the day, to her audience, to show that I am just a mommy. My children are about to wake up, and this is who I am on a Sunday morning. So there you go.
So Didi, we talked a little bit about your past, and you grew up in England, and you were born in Hong Kong. When did you come to LA?
Oh, I came to LA at 31 years old, so 2006.
Okay, wow. How did that immigration, I want to say, I guess it is immigration, how did that affect you? How was it for you? Because I went through that too. I came to Canada when I was 16, but I know that when you're a little bit older, immigration is a totally different beast.
Oh, you ask a very juicy question. I could open up a can of worms to talk about that. My journey, I call it fighting to stay in this country. Right? If you're really talking about immigration in the words, how did I get to even stay here as a Chinese girl? It's a really great story. When I first came, I was 18. I went to school. I went to Boston University, so that was covered because I had my student visa. By the time I graduated at 22, I had 1 year of work experience allowed to work in America. So my parents let me stay for a year. And I decided to go to New York City, the bustling, happy, like hustling kind of city that I love. And after 1 year, when my visa ended, I was like, oh my God, what do I do now? And I am sure a lot of people who may be listening has either going through it right now or have gone through it, because in fact, I'm helping a client right now to get his status in America. So this is a story near and dear to my heart. So it was a struggle. We're talking about resilience today, right? So I was looking for husbands.
Yes.
No, that's a joke, but not a joke at the same time, because I was then hired by a company, Vera Wang. I was working for Vera Wang in her PR department, and they were so kind to try to sponsor me to stay in the country. But lo and behold, I got rejected. Then Vera loved me so much, and she was really trying to help me. She said, well, I'm probably not a big enough company to sponsor you, and that's probably why they rejected you. She then passed me on to the New York City Ballet. She recommended me for a job at the New York City Ballet. And so I went to the New York City Ballet and worked, had a beautiful time, met so many amazing people, all the socialites of New York. I was 20, maybe 24 or 23 at that time. And really already getting to meet, the creme de la creme of New York City. And they tried to sponsor me, and I got rejected again. So at that point, I really didn't know what to do, to be very honest with you. I told my parents, I told my friends, and this is the beginning of a learning lesson for everyone. Whenever you need something to happen, whenever you really want to reach a goal, don't be afraid to talk about it. Don't be afraid to share what you need, because the more people who know, the more the word would spread, and the more your resolution will come your way, the more chances of that. So I was telling all these people that, well, New York City Ballet, they sponsored me, but what got rejected, and I don't know what to do. I might have to just leave the country. At that point, somebody was willing to pay me under the table and hire me to still, right? So, which is fine, but I still had the visa problem, right? I was able to have a living still, but visa problem. So she tried to say, you know what? I know some people who may be able to sponsor you. And these were the two Italian men, very, very high-powered Italian men who owned the Pier 59 studios, Marco and Federico. And Pier 59 Studios at that time, and still is, one of the absolute top photo studios in the world. And so they were obviously very powerful enough to sponsor me. They took the word of Pam. Pam is the lady who was kind of like my angel along the way, and sponsored. And somehow they got a yes, right? Probably because they know people, the world is like business. You just have to know that it is who you know. That's why I talk about relationship capital so much. Whenever I speak, I say to people, relationship capital is more than money than buy.
Yes.
If you know the right people, they can take you far off than what money can take you.
Yeah.
So I got 2 years of visa because I was working at Pier 59 Studios, first under the table, right? I told you,
Yeah.
and now as a as a real title. So I was very lucky because they saw so much in me that I became the director of public relations and catering at Pier 59 Studios quite quickly, and I got to meet Keanu Reeves, Madonna, Jennifer Lopez, Puff Daddy at that time. I worked with the absolute top photographers in the world. And I remember I am only at that time 24 years old, running around. And I got glammed up every day because, I'm meeting these people. So I'm always dressed up with heels and running around New York City. It was the time of my life, Dela. Of my life.
Oh my gosh, it would be.
So, yeah, moving on. After I got the visa, something inside me was not feeling good, or not feeling in alignment. And I really always listen to my gut. It's a success principle number 13 in the Napoleon Hill Think and Grow Rich book, which anybody who have not read it, please read it. It's not a difficult read at all. And I really go by those principles. Principle number 13 talks about your sixth sense. And my sixth sense came in at that time when I was working for these two Italian men who helped me so much. But just because of that, I wasn't going to kowtow to them, right? Most people would probably stay in the job because they just got them a visa. No, not Didi Wong. She decides to, you know what? I need to give up this amazing job of hanging out with celebrities and go and pursue my dream, which is to be on Broadway.
Oh,
yeah. My love, my whole reason for coming to America was because I wanted to sing, dance, and act and be on Broadway. And that was my passion, my soul calling. And I gave up that job. I told them that I need to go and pursue what I wanted to, because I knew I only had two years, right? So I running out of time again, right? I was planning ahead. I only had 2 years to audition and get myself on a show. So I went from hanging out with Madonna, Mariah Carey, as I said, all those people, 1 week. The next week I found myself in the basement of a Chinese restaurant doing reservations and being paid $12 an hour from a high-paying job to being paid $12 an hour to answer phones, just so I can have a schedule free enough for me to go and audition to pursue my dream. At that time, I had about 1.5 years left of my visa. And this is when I'm not joking, was praying to find someone who would want to marry me. And because that was the only way the other way with my lawyer was telling me was to find myself in a big show who would, again, go through that process of sponsoring me. So within a week, my prayers were answered, and I did meet a guy, and fell in love so quickly that it was just God sent, really. He met me right at the end of when I left Pier 59 Studios, and I told him I only work at a Chinese restaurant. And it was really interesting because it wasn't about that. It was so much about just falling in love, loving each other as human beings. And I didn't even tell him anything about my visa, which I was just going through my journey of falling in love, right? And I knew that my visa was coming up October that year, coming up, the next year. So I was really prepared to leave. So I told him probably a week before I had to leave, I was like, Michael, I actually have to leave the country next week, and have to be gone for about 3 months before I can come back in again, because, tourist visa, I don't have a visa unless I have to come back as a tourist. And he was like, what do you mean? And so we had that quality talk, and he didn't ask me right away. He was kind of figuring out, I can't lose you. No, you're not leaving. What can we do? So, I say this not too often to people, but I feel this is the right time. But so one night we were just lying down, about to fall asleep, and he just turned to me, and I was probably in my kind of trance, about to fall asleep state. And he said to me, do you want to get legal? And I was just like, hold on a second. Are you asking me to marry you? I kind of like thinking in my head. And he's like, do you want to get legal? And I'm just thinking, hold on, I'm tired. I don't know if I can go into this conversation right now. But I know I was smiling inside, and we were holding hands. And I knew that was pretty much the moment where all my woes in, all the past years of trying to stay in the country just kind of disappeared, because I know that this was the man we would be marrying each other for love rather than for, although the bonus came with a green card. So, yeah, and we set a date to go to the city hall. And the date was October 8th. And lo and behold, October 8th came, and he was called to be on stage. He was on Broadway. So he was doing what I've been wanting to do. And I met him, by the way, in my acting class. He was my teacher. So that's another story to tell. Anyway, so October 8th came. I was so excited. He got called. I'm like, oh, I guess we're not getting married today. It's just so interesting because he was a understudy for 4 parts on a very prominent show, and he got called to be on. And I'm like, I guess we'll go get married on October 9th instead, whichever day we have free. It wasn't, but my thing is, I'm a fairy tale romantic girl. Part of me was just so happy that I'll get my green card and I met the man of my dreams. But part of me was dying because I won't get that fairy tale wedding white dress down, and I'm very close to my father. So not to be able to include him and just rushing to City Hall. And what's worse was at City Hall on October 9th, when we got married, it was like walk in the door. The lady just asked, will you, Michael Duver, take the, same thing. 45 seconds later, it was like, next. Oh my God. It can be put out as a sitcom as such a funny thing. But at the same time, when I think back to that moment, I was just like, Oh my God. So still to this day, I haven't realized my dream of walking down the aisle and wearing that white dress and having my dad and all my family and friends to be there with me. So I'm hoping I will do some type of a renewal of a vow or
Oh
something
my
at some
gosh!
point.
So this is so you've been married to Michael. So you're married to Michael still to this day.
Yes, 18 years.
Oh my gosh, this is so cute.
Yes, and we have 4 children after 8 years of being married. And yeah, my marriage was on a down low because it was, married for the green card.
Yeah.
But we were in love,
Amazing. This is such a cute story. Oh my God. And you have to. I mean, people are doing it all the time.
Right.
They're getting married just as a renewal of their vows. So you got to do that.
Yes, I will.
Fairy tale.
We'll see. Hopefully, 18, maybe at 20 years we'll do it.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe. I've been wanting to, so I'm sure it will happen.
Awesome. So then, so you're married, but obviously, so you have not been living so you moved to LA after New York.
Yes, so we were in New York. Yeah, we were in New York. He was still on Broadway, and after that, he had the opportunity to be asked to come to Los Angeles for his career as an actor. So I just followed along.
And then what happened to your dream of going to Broadway?
Oh, this is another really juicy story. So I realized that my dream of being on Broadway was, a very far-fetched one, because at that time there truly were not many roles for Asian women who look like me, right? And if I were to get a role, unfortunately, it would probably just be a chorus girl. And thanks to people like Shonda Rhimes nowadays, I was watching Bridgerton, where I saw Asian, I saw Indian, I saw Black, I saw yellow, brown, white, all of it mixed up. And even the Queen Victoria plays, and she's like a Black woman. It's just beautiful. So it really pushes our imagination and opens up the world for all of us. So I did give up on my dream of being on Broadway as an actress, right? And I was just like, I think I am bigger than that. So I decided to become an entrepreneur instead. It came in my dream. I was miserable in LA. I was crying every day, and I'm not a crier. I'm not one of those, I'm always bubbly, happy. So I found myself at a place where, again, we're talking about resilience. I went to LA with my husband, and I found myself, wow, I don't have to drive everywhere. Remember, I was from New York City, in Hong Kong, Boston, all the places that I've been to, it doesn't require a car to get out. You can walk out, you can get on a subway or take a cab and go places. In LA, you have to get in the car, right? And it's not really a walking city. So I even tried to go out to the streets and walk, and it felt so wrong, and nobody was around me, and it felt like I was scared. So I was not used to the car culture. And so I found myself miserable. But in that misery, this is the resilience part, I was doing so much yoga. And yoga really helped me come out of my misery. And I was taking teachers' certifications, finding my spirituality, learning lessons from every single practice, because the teachers always come with a quote or something that really makes you think about your life and who you are. And so one day I was just reading a magazine, and it said yoga conference in Hong Kong, 5-day yoga conference in Hong Kong. And I was just like, whoa, I am going to go take this opportunity to go back to visit my family, but also to do 5 full days of intense yoga. I would love that. And so I did. I went back, and I didn't take Michael. I was like, I'm going to go back and just be with mommy and daddy and my sisters and do this yoga. So I went back after the 5th day of yoga, 5 to 7 hours of intense yoga. And I'm talking about physical yoga, right? Really, I was so strong at that time. I woke up at 4:30 in the middle of the night with a calling. And I was like, what is happening? I saw my calling, which was my tank top, My very first product that I had in my very first company was a white ribbed tank top with a downward facing dog on it. I saw it in my dream. So at that moment, I decided to drop all my acting and singing and all of that training I ever had. And I said, if I'm going to make the money that I want to make in this world, I'm going to become a businesswoman. So I wrote to Michael at 4:30. I woke up right away and wrote to him. I'm like, baby, I've decided that I'm no longer wanting to be an actress. A calling came into my dream, and I'm going to open up a company and become an entrepreneur. And at that time, I actually didn't even use the word entrepreneur. I didn't even know that word entrepreneur, right? At that time was just, I'm going to open up a business in clothing. It's something to do with tank tops. So within 1 year, I worked really hard. I didn't have an MBA. I don't have a business degree. It was just common sense to me. I just felt like, hey, if people can do it, I can do it. I know. So I was just diligently researching, reading, taking seminars of how to start a business, and listening to people giving me advice. And within 1 year, I went back to that same yoga conference the next year in the summer in Hong Kong. It was 2008. 2007, I had that calling. 2008, I realized my very first company. It was called Chakras by Didi. Chakras means energy wheel. Yes. That goes on and on. So I really love that word, chakras. And Chakras by Didi was born 2008. Yeah, July. So I had that for 10 years. Now, fast forward 10 years, which was only 3 years ago. We're now in 2021. 2018 was when I sold my company and started all the other companies that I have now.
Oh my God.
My journey is not that, it's only been 3 years of such that I've achieved what you read on that bio.
Oh, it's crazy. But so I want to come back to that. And first, I want to read some of the comments and say hello to people. But we have we're going to take a short break and hear from our sponsor, and we'll be right back, Didi.
Thank you.
Thank you. So just so you know, all my accessories are from Obsessions Fashion Accessories. It's a family-owned business, and they are amazing. Okay, so we want to go back. Now, before we go back, I want to make sure we say hi to everybody who's watching. Samantha says, "Woman of many talents."
I love Samantha. Hi, Samantha.
And Annie Hardock says, "Hi, Didi, Wong, and Dela Futui." Hello, Annie.
Oh, hi, Annie.
Samantha also says to you, I think that's who she means, "You're amazing."
Oh, thank you.
Tracy Franklin, my friend, says hello. Tristan Helm is here, and he says absolutely awesome.
Wow.
And Lizzie T from Lizzie T Show, she says, "Hello, beautiful, amazing ladies. Congrats, Didi, for all your accomplishments." And I have Frida here and Abdullah Shamson. Thank you so much for everyone who's watching. If you're watching this show right now, I can't see you unless you drop us a line so that I can say hello back. And also, please share this talk with other people who may enjoy from a little bit more of resilience in their life. And we're talking about resilience. Didi, I asked you, what do you feel about resilience? She's like, "That's my favorite topic." How come?
I think as human beings, every one of us will come across hurdles, problems, issues, difficult people. I always like to say that because there are difficult people in this world that we have to overcome. in situations, deaths, tragedies, and stuff like that. So, when you build your resilience and you can be positive, or at least accepting of the situation, it's all in your thoughts. It's all in how you talk to yourself. And this is why communication is such a big topic for me. And I don't just talk about communication to other people. I talk about how you respect yourself, and how you talk to yourself on a daily basis affects how you treat other people. So when you come across a situation that requires resilience, then you can be kinder to yourself. You can be kinder to the people involved and the main characters or the supporting characters of that story, of the situation. And so, this is a word that I love, because I practice my resilience every time, no matter if it's one client who may not be so happy with me because they imagined something else and they had higher expectations. I don't have many of those, but, of course, there you always come across one or two who will have always complain, right? To, I've been very open about how difficult my relationship with my mother is. So, to the resilience of knowing how to continue kind of watering that relationship, and resilience towards continuing to love my mother for who she is, right? And also resilience with even something that I just literally 2 days ago resolved, which was I was a victim of a cybercrime, and I had a lot of money that I transferred, wire transferred to somebody who wasn't supposed to receive it. It was a hacker, dealing with the banks, the FBI, the detectives, and then, understanding all these people who come into my life. And as I said, you have to tell people in order for things to resolve, because people may know people who may know people. So I use communication a lot for myself, and keep it positive, and know that there is always a lesson to be learned from that situation. And there's always a light at the end of the tunnel. Just like us in pandemic right now, in the COVID era, it has been very, very difficult for a lot of people around the world. But if we build our resilience together, and collectively as a universe, as the world, as a global entity, we can actually think positively, speak to ourselves in a respectful way, speak to other people with kindness, then collectively all our energies truly come together to resolve the problems of the world. And that's true. I've seen it happen in front of my eyes. I've felt it many, many, many times when a group of people come together and they have one goal, and they collectively send that goal out to the universe and collectively want this to happen. It happened, right in front of my eyes. So if I think I told you that I am giving out a book to all your audience. Did I tell you that?
No, you did not.
Oh yeah, I would love to give out my book called Elevator Pitch: Turn Every Stranger into an Ally, to every one of you. And all you have to do is just go to DidiWongFreeBook.com. Very simple, Didi Wong Free Book. And in there, you will read about my story of the dolphins. And I'll just keep it at that. But my dolphin story is magical. And this is exactly what I'm talking to you about, the collective coming together to make something happen. And so I'll keep you in mystery.
I want to put it in the comment section. So it's DidiWong.com.
DidiWongFreeBook.com.
Free book. Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, yes, please go get that book, everybody. This is great. So the dolphin story, huh? You're not going to give us like a little not cool, Didi, not cool.
It's good. Keep you in suspense for a little bit. I'm a producer, right? Remember, I'm a TV and movie producer, so I love to keep people in suspense till the unfold.
So everything you've done, You said, Dela, most of the things I've done in that bio, I did them in the past 3 years. Oh my God, it's crazy.
Yes, it really is. And that's why I am very unique in my journey. And I am hashtag Speedy Didi is my name. And,
Not any
and
geyser bunny.
energize. And yeah, when you said that, I was like, oh my God, you're not the first. That's good because my husband calls me Mighty Mouse. And, well, how can I take care of 3 businesses and 4 children if I don't have my time together? I want to say SHIT together. You have to keep, make sure that you're putting your time to good use. Time is our most treasured commodity. And I really do make sure I put my time in good use. So I love to meet people. I love to take opportunities and say yes. I'm the yes girl. That's why I own the Yes Academy. But in the Yes Academy, not just to say yes, but also to get yeses. It's all about how do you communicate to get those yeses that you want in your life. And in the last 3.5 years, I have been able to get a lot of yeses through my languaging, through my energy, through how I speak to other people. So I love talking about that topic too.
Didi, how do you see opportunities?
I see them as always goodness. I always see them as goodness. But now more and more, I have to not be naive. I also have to set boundaries. And, as you climb the ladder of being more and more successful, more and more people want your time, want to communicate with you, right? And so I have learned probably just in the last year, I've asked my mentor, how do you go about saying no to people when you don't know them? Because I really do have a lot of people who email me or text me or social media, DM me, like, can I please get to know you more? And I want to get to know everyone more, right? And
can I please interview you?
Yeah, right? And so, I truly, honestly would love to say yes to all of them. But a certain point came into my life where, hold on a second, I'm absolutely exhausted. Hold on a second. I'm not taking care of myself anymore. Hold on a second. I have no time with my husband. Hold on a second. My children are telling me, Mommy, you're still working. And they remind me, right? And so at that point, about a year ago, early in 2020, when I seriously thought, hold on a second, I do need to set boundaries now. And then the pandemic happened, which was almost like a blessing. It's so interesting to talk about this because at the beginning it was like, hush, hush, don't say the COVID is a blessing because everyone is suffering so much. But at the same time, I've come across so many people in my network who found COVID to be a blessing and a welcomed pause in whatever we were doing. If you lost your job, if you lost your business, it actually was supposed to happen this way, right? That you were supposed to pivot into something else. You were supposed to take another road. Instead of the left, you go to the right, right? So I took that as, wow, now I'm homeschooling. I don't have my helpers. I used to have babysitters, right? And cleaning ladies who come and help me. Boom, suddenly I took on 4 times the work because I'm cooking breakfast, lunch, and dinner, snacks, everything, cleaning the floors, cleaning the toilets, cleaning the dishes, folding laundry, all of those things were taking up my time. And so I was like, oh my goodness, I do have to take care of my family. These are my children, right? So hold on, I cannot say yes to everybody else like I used to, right? So I set boundaries. So when you are asking me, what do I see in opportunities? I do see them as great things. And I always see it as a positive because I'm meeting it. I never know whom I meet, who will take me to whatever path I'm supposed to take, right? And I do believe, as I said at the very beginning of this show, I believe God puts the right people in my path. So whomever my gut tells me to say yes to on LinkedIn, people, always soliciting, right? Didi, I want this, I want that. Now more than ever because of social media, I go with my gut. So why did I say yes to this person and I didn't say yes to that person? So I truly believe, and I always say yes to the right people. It's really, really interesting.
It's amazing. It's
So
amazing.
yeah, opportunities is a good thing.
So let's look at some comments. I want to make sure we say hi to everybody. Ziba's here. Hello, my dear. Atusa is here, my dear cousin Atusa. Hi, Dela and Didi, listening from Vancouver, BC. Thank you for a lively show. Thank you for being here. Marianne Pageant, my dear friend Marianne, she's here, and she says hello. And she also says, totally agrees with you. Love it all. More love into the universe. And she's all about love. She's all
nice.
Yeah. And she loves the Yes Academy too. And she says, COVID has been a blessing for me as well. So, Annie says, thanks for saying yes to me, Didi.
That's right, Annie. She's so sweet.
That's Babak says hello to both of us. That's Annie. I want to see. That's Annie.
Oh, thank you, Annie.
And and Tracy is very kind. She says Dela Futu is a wonderful person to say yes to.
Yes, I gathered that. Yes.
Thank you so much. So, what would you say to people who are who have had some struggles happen to them? Post-COVID, and so people have lost their jobs. Like you said, yes, you look at it from a different perspective. People have had to put up with a lot. A lot of people have been at home going through relationship problems.
Yes.
So how do you look at that, Didi, and make sense of it?
Well, I would just say if you can believe in the higher source, and a lot of us come back to our faiths, and when you find yourself in that situation, you pray and you ask God or whoever you believe in, and have a conversation with him. It's almost like I said earlier, having conversations with yourself and questioning, but not in a woe is me type of perspective. And the more you woe is me, I'm in such a bad situation. The more you do that, the more it will not help you. So I would love for you to, if you do find yourself in that situation, say, hold on a second, this happened for a reason. Like what happened to me just now in the last 2 months, right? Instead of woe is me and put myself in that victim mentality, I prayed to God. I prayed to the universe and said, okay, I know this happened for a reason. What am I supposed to learn from this, God? What am I supposed to learn from, is it supposed to tell me who the real people truly are in my life? Because those are people who've been supporting me through this journey, and those people who didn't want to even talk to me about it, and I considered them really good friends. They didn't even like, Didi, are you feeling okay? Are you okay? Because it was a big deal for me. And so it's a questioning period of time. So if you are in that situation where you either lost your job or you're getting low on savings, or try to think positively and say, hey, there has to be a message in this path and this hurdle. Visualize it. Visualize those hurdles, like those runners in the Olympics, like they have to go up hurdles. Do you think the first time they went over that hurdle, they didn't knock it out and they couldn't do it, right? They had to practice and keep going, pick themselves up, dust themselves off, and try again, right? So if you are in that position, I would say, pick yourself up, dust yourself off, read, goodness. I would say consume positivity, listening to podcasts like these, as well as reading material that will lift you up, going to listening to friends, whatever you consume, I always say, and it's not just through your mouth. Obviously, nutrition is very important, but whatever you consume with your ears, it's extremely, extremely important. So pick the right people to talk to, pick the right podcasts to listen to, pick the right songs to listen to. And that, I think that would really help you and connect with people. So let's say if you hear from Dela's voice, this might be your first time listening to Dela, and you may be going through something and you wanted to share. Hey, reach out. I always say, don't be afraid to ask. People are so easy to reach now with social media. So don't be afraid to reach out. Reach out to me. I hope I can help you. If Dela can put you on her show because you have an amazing story. And we are all here just to share, really, right? We are just a platform so that we can help each other. So yeah, tell everybody, as I said before.
So we've got didiwong.com scrolling down below the post. You can check out Didi's wonderful. She's doing amazing things. I mean, I can't wait to watch your movie again. I want to make sure that people who just joined us know that you have a movie called it's a documentary on your journey as a speaker, and it's called Impact, and it's won multiple major film festivals for best inspirational film. And you look out for that. Is there information on that on your website, Didi?
Not yet, but I will just follow. It would be great if you can follow me on social media, because I always kind of do my announcements there, and it's just at Didi Wong Official. On Instagram and Facebook. I always announce kind of what's coming over there. It's kind of like a news, really a news feed, right?
Yeah.
And if you get my book, and then you'll be entered into my community, so we know what's going on. Yeah.
I can't wait to get your book and also to see that movie. It's amazing, and you're going to be knighted as Lady Didi, and I can't wait for that to happen. Any idea when that's coming up this year?
Yes, it should be within the next 6 months. I actually had a call the other day talking about this topic. And because of COVID, they were waiting before to be allowed to do the live ceremony, because it's very grand. All the dukes come in, and, you have the bagpipes and stuff happening. But because of COVID, they didn't want the to-be knighted people to wait any longer. So I think they might do it virtually, for the sake of getting the title. And then when the world opens up again, we'll actually have the live ceremony where I'll put my cape on, my sword, and all of that will come into play. But yeah, please. Yeah, I would love for you guys to keep in touch, because I this is such one of the biggest highlights of my life, it will be. And I just really want all my community to be around and be with me.
Well, I gotta tell you, it's not every day that a girl from Hong Kong gets knighted.
Right.
I mean, it's mind blowing. Didi, you've done so many amazing things.
Thank you.
You're so wonderful. Thank you so much for giving us your time today. I do have one more question.
Okay.
Which I ask most of my guests this question. What does acts of kindness mean to you, and how important is it to carry that on?
Oh, I love acts of kindness, because my mom always told me that you're so generous, Didi. You're too generous sometimes. Like you gotta be smart about your generosity, because you're always giving, and so in a way, I apply that to my business. I apply that to relationship capital, as I said. And the more I find that I give, and I call it unconditional love, unconditional giving, the more goodness comes my way. And there's no tit for tat, there's no calculation in it. It's just, you go out there, you give acts of kindness, meaning like, you could be paying for somebody's coffee behind you if you're at Starbucks. Or I've had that happen to me actually recently. I was at a burger joint in Texas. I didn't even know Texas very well. I was trying this chain, and I was waiting for my turn. And then the next person said, the person who was getting my order said to me, "Oh, the person in front of you, the car in front of you, paid for your meal today." And I'm like, oh my God, that's something that I would do. That is so cool, because there are angels in this world, right? There really are angels around you. And I really choose to look at humanity in a positive way, even though we see so many riots, protests, all those things happening that are and negativity in the news. I choose to be still act of kindness, still give, and not give with the expectation of getting, but give to give, because naturally it will some way, shape, or form come back to you.
Yeah.
And that is truly how I have operated in my life, personal and business.
Ah, so good. So good. Thank you.
Thank you, Della.
Look who's here. I want to make sure that you see
Lori.
there. Yeah, Lori's here. Lori, thank you so much.
Love Lori.
This introduction. Oh, so good.
Yeah.
And Tristan said about Impact. He said beautiful movie. And Samantha says this has been great. Thank you, Samantha.
Thank you.
And,
Thanks so much, Tristan. Thanks so much, Lori and Samantha, for showing up. I always say showing up is one of the biggest things in life. Yeah.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you for showing up, Didi. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. I loved it.
Not just showing up, but showing up 100%. And I really appreciate that.
Thank you.
I want to give you a couple of more minutes to just leave us with whatever you like.
Well, I have quotes that I live by that I think would be a great reminder if you want to write those down and put them on your mirror, put them on your fridge, put them on your desk that you see all the time. One is to be your own best friend. Really, most important is how you treat yourself. And I can't say that more impactfully. And the next quote would be, love yourself. Be your own best friend, love yourself. And so if you do just that on a daily basis and practice that every single minute of your life, then anybody, anything, any situation that you come across, the only thing it will happen will be goodness, because you see yourself as good and you treat yourself with respect and you love yourself and you are your own best friend. You're going to have fun anywhere you go because you have you, right? So there you go.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Didi. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
We meet again. I loved having you on the show. I appreciated every single minute, and thank you again for showing up and being so wonderful and being yourself, and so good.
Thank you. Thank you for doing what you do so that you give us a platform to have a voice. Dela's voice, right? So it's really powerful what you're doing, Dela.
Thank you, Didi. Thank you. And for everyone who's joined us today, thank you for spending your time with us. And as always, this has been Dela's voice, hoping to spark your soul. Have a blessed day.
Bye-bye.